Well, delegates, each and every person in this hall, those in the overspill hall, and many, many people watching at home, have waited a very long time indeed for an SNP leader to say just this at our annual conference. Conference, I stand before you as Scotland's First Minister. I know, and I'll never forget, the Herculean efforts of the party to win that historic election in May. But none of us here will forget those generations of campaigners for the Scottish cause, the ones that Angus mentioned a few moments ago. We stand on the shoulders of giants, and together we've changed the landscape of Scottish politics. We've removed from power a Labour Party which had for generations assumed a divine right to rule Scotland. The divine right of kings went some time ago. The divine right of Labour has now gone the same way. And the days of Labour domination of Scottish politics are well and truly over. So we've moved from the cause of Scotland, from the opposition benches, into the heart of government. In the years ahead, there will doubtless be challenges. But confidence, we will never lose sight of this. Scotland has been changed forever and for good. Scotland, our Scotland, is on the way to a better future. And this party, Scotland's party, is now the party of government. And what 165 days it has been. Last Tuesday in Glasgow, I was given the ultimate Scottish superlative, the supreme accolade. A guy came up to me and said, "You're doing nae bad." Optimism, a breath of fresh air, a fresh start for Scotland. There are moments in politics which are very scarce and very rare, when the mood of the nation is clearly for change. We felt that mood in 1999 when our Parliament was reconvened, and we felt it again this year. Every moment I serve as First Minister of Scotland, I feel an immense responsibility. At the start of this Parliament, I pledged to serve wholly and exclusively in the interests of the people of Scotland. I meant that with all my heart. Delegates, we have learnt the lessons from the past. I watched as the euphoria of 1999 descended into disappointment, while the election of an SNP government has given Scotland a second chance. Our job is to seize that opportunity, to be radical, to reform, to renew. Our challenge every day is to convince the people that we are on their side, that our priorities are the people's priorities, and as we do so, we have another responsibility, to inspire and to excite. Politics is not a job, it's not a hobby. It's about changing the world around us, about deciding the kind of society we want to be and driving our own destiny. The job of this party and of this government is to engage the people of Scotland in that mission, to reconnect, to bring together a coalition of those willing to transform our country. Now, of course, some are more willing than others. The Alexanders, brother and sister. One apologises to Labour for losing the election. The other apologises for almost wrecking the election. Mind you, at least the Scottish election actually took place. You know, when Gordon Brown appointed Douglas as Labour's election coordinator, I knew he was asking for trouble. Mind you, even I didn't expect him to call off the election altogether. But the serious point, delegates, after this debacle, Westminster must never again be allowed to run another election in Scotland. Now, the Scottish Conservatives seem anxious to come to terms with the new politics in Scotland. Unfortunately, their friends in the South give the game away. Last week in the House of Commons, David McLean, who's Tory MP for Penrith and the Borders, he congratulated the Agricultural Secretary. That's right, he congratulated the Agricultural Secretary on withdrawing support from Scottish farmers. Now, why would any farmer, why would anyone from a rural community support a party whose members of Parliament rejoice in kicking Scotland in the teeth? The outbreak of foot and mouth, and therefore the dire consequences for rural Scotland, for the future of our livestock industry, are inescapably the moral and financial responsibility of the Westminster Government. We, the Scottish Government, have stepped up to the plate to meet that national emergency. But make no mistake, delegates, we shall pursue the Westminster Government until they meet their obligations to rural Scotland. And then there's the Liberals. You thought I was going to miss them out, didn't you? Charlie's gone. Ming's gone. Councillors in the Highlands are defecting. You know, people are beginning to ask whether the real crisis is Ming Campbell leaving or Nicola Stevens staying. Delegates, as we approach government, we had to do three things. The first phase was to do for Scottish politics what Walter Smith and Alan McLeish have done for the national side, restore the reputation of Scotland. The point about that is this, that as a party new to government, our first task was to win credibility through our actions in office, and we have done so. This government signs up to an age-old precept, by your deeds you shall be known. Our next stage is to guide the government and the Parliament through the next 4 years. Money will be tighter. Therefore, we'll have to be smarter in the use of public resources. We will be. But government is not just about credibility and efficiency. It's also about vision. And in everything that we do, we will signpost the way to a better future for our country. That is stage 3. To build on the platform of achievement in government to forward the case for independence. Now let's reflect for a moment on what this government, your government, Scotland's government has achieved. We've actually made one announcement for more than every sitting day of the Scottish Parliaments. Delegates, when we came to power in May, I reduced the number of government departments in Scotland from 9 to 6, which meant the Cabinet was reduced to 6. But what a team that we have for Scotland. Kenny McCaskill at Justice, Fiona Hislop at Education, Richard Lochhead at Rural Affairs, John Swinney at Finance, and Nicola Sturgeon at Health. Now, I don't know if it's Scotland 10, England 0, as the Independent newspaper suggested yesterday, but this team is certainly scoring a few goals for Scotland. Kenny McCaskill is after the guns and the knives which blight many areas of Scotland, and also the binge drinking culture which fuels crime. Richard Lochhead is fighting for our great rural industries and protecting our precious environment. He's now exploring a fair trade system for Scotland's farmers to make sure they get a quality return for quality produce. Nicola is simply brilliant at Health. Waiting times are down. Accident and emergency units are saved. Prescription charges are to be abolished. Conference, that's the mark of a government delivering for the people's National Health Service.